become a clinical case manager, and it's a growing field in higher education where there's non-clinical case managers through the Dean of Students offices, and then also clinical case managers like myself in the counseling centers across different universities across the nation. So I continue as well in this role doing clinical work. I have a small caseload of clients. I work a lot with students who are in crisis, but I also get to do what I call more traditional case management and social work, where I help students who are facing food insecurity, housing insecurity, clothing insecurity, help them get connected to resources on and off campus.
Currently, I serve as the Bias Incident Response Coordinator for the University of Kentucky, and those services are housed here at the Violence Intervention and Prevention Center. So my role on campus is to provide support and advocacy for any student, staff, or faculty that have been impacted by racism, bias, hatred, identity-based violence, anything like that.
For me, it's a very tangible thing. You work with these patients who have needs outside of just being the physical, right? You have patients who are very complex medical problems. But with that, life doesn't stop when you're sick. It keeps going on. And so other things can immediately start collapsing around you. But those are tangible things for me that I can sit there and go, I can help with that. Let me do this. Let me call this place and help and see if I can get some assistance for your rent. Let me see if I can help find transportation assistance, right? So I think that's something that we say here a lot when working with patients is that, we want to help with those peripheral things. We let our wonderful doctors and nurses take care of the physical, and we want to help with all the psychosocial. And it's sometimes very practical, but it's also very emotional, right? Especially if you're dealing with a chronic disease, and many cancers can be a chronic disease, right? So we can get in there and we can offer that emotional support and that practical support, and we can help their families. A lot of educating, letting them know that this is what they're experiencing is not outside the realm of normal of having a cancer diagnosis.
I do individual therapy with the teenagers from 10 to 25, and then I also kind of do some family therapy with their parents. Obviously, change isn't going to occur just working with the teenagers, so we try to include the families as much as we can and as much as the teens will allow us. And I also do a group therapy there for dialectical behavior therapy for teenagers. I'm going on 5 years at adolescent medicine. It's really something I never thought I would do, working with teenagers. I always saw myself with working with adults, but it has definitely been an amazing journey working with teens.
Then I also on the side started a nonprofit called On the Move Art Studio, which we took a vintage trailer, turned it into a mobile art room, and we go to underserved neighborhoods and do free arts classes for kids. It's always been a dream of mine to start a nonprofit, especially to help kids who grew up in neighborhoods like the neighborhood I grew up in. We had this little nugget of an idea. We wanted to make sure that it was something the community wanted, that the community would support. We didn't want to be paternalistic and say, here's what you need. But the response has been awesome.
Common Good is a community development organization that works with students that all live in the same neighborhood within walking distance of our site on North Limestone. So our students come from the Castlewood, Limestone, and Easton neighborhoods. And our neighborhood, if you're not familiar with it, is this beautiful picture of diversity. We have Latino immigrants, we have African refugees, we have whites and blacks, and we all live in the same neighborhood. And so while we have very different life experiences, we have different cultural backgrounds, our immigration status might not be the same. What we do have in common is that we're part of the same community. And so that kind of binds us and brings us together at Common Good. And we work mostly with students and then the families that they're a part of. So we do that through an after-school and summer program. But it's so much more than just programming. It's really committing to students for the long haul. We have students, some of them we've been working with for 10 years, and we have some that joined 2 months ago. And so we invite students and families to be part of what we're doing. And if they commit to us, we kind of commit to them. And so our journey is to help them have the opportunities they need to be the people they want to be.
I ended ended up in social work because I enjoyed people, enjoyed helping people, enjoyed working with people. And, when you do those inventories for careers, those things, type of jobs always popped up. Being from Eastern Kentucky, I still was like, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be something like that, But in the end, after I kept going through my academic career, I kept gravitating toward family studies, social work, those type of classes. And I enjoyed them so much.
For me, I got into social work. I came to UK undecided, didn't know what I wanted to do. And I took a social work class and it just all clicked. As soon as I started hearing about advocating for marginalized populations and social justice, it really clicked.
Well, my background was my undergraduate degree was not in social work. And as I graduated and looked for jobs, I was really drawn to professions that help people. I was drawn to maybe teaching or maybe doing social work, maybe counseling. And so I worked for a couple years right out of undergraduate, working for the Lexington Rescue Mission and then the school system. And I gained things from both of those jobs, but neither of them felt quite right for me. Kind of working with an adult population wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, but working in the school system wasn't either. And so as I explored kind of further training I might want to do, I really settled on social work because it felt broad enough for me to maybe do a lot of different jobs since I wasn't 100% sure this is exactly what I want to do. This is the exact population I want to work with. I really at first was ruling out things I didn't want to do and kind of thought, oh, this might be it for me, and then had the job and said, that's not exactly where I want to go. So I went into social work really just with the desire to help people, which is fairly general, but knew that that would be the one that was best prepared me to do that, and also was general enough for me to do, maybe be in a clinical setting, or actually maybe do community development work, which is ended up what I'm doing now. One of the things that I like most about social work is that it really is focused on the whole person. It's focused on people becoming whole, whether that's through clinical work. It's focused on people having opportunities, like in community development work and justice work, or policy work. It's really focused, it's not limited to just, the well-being of a child outwardly, making sure they have enough like food and shelter, but it's also making sure they have, opportunities as they go on for education. I like that it's not fragmented. It really looks at the whole person, and I think very few professions do that. As I reflect back on friends I went to school with, or even friends I have now that are social workers, we do such vastly different things, but it's all social work. So I have friends who work in Frankfurt and help educate congressmen about different topics so that they are well informed and can make good decisions. I have friends who work at the Rape Crisis Center. I have friends who work in the hospital. I have friends doing community development work. I have friends doing human trafficking work, and all of us are called social workers. And so I just like that social work isn't one type of work, but it really spreads to all of society, all people. And that's just something I think is really rare and really beautiful.
I really like how vast social work is as a field. I feel like there's so much that you can do with it. If you find dissatisfaction in one position, you could always find another one. There's a lot of different ways that you can help people, and I think that that's number one for me, being able to feel like I'm making a difference in creating change in the world and in individuals' lives. I really enjoy doing micro level, but I like to do macro level social work as well. I find that I am a huge advocate, and I really enjoy creating change in advocacy, not only just with my clients, but also in the more macro level as well. So I really like that about our field, that there's just so much you can do with it.
I really enjoy seeing positive outcomes and seeing things change and seeing things like a difference being made. So it feels really good. It feels like, okay, I've really helped this person. I've really done this, or really worked with someone, and they feel like they're moving in the right direction.
What I really like about it is the ability to be able to impact people that you will never know. And so like when you're doing macro level social work and looking at systems, you will have an impact. But the person that's going to be impacted isn't going to come up to you and be like, I'm so glad you wrote that policy for us. Thank you. That's not how that really works. But just knowing that you are in a position to be able to influence and change systems is a very, very powerful thing.
Fighting for social justice sometimes I feel like we're like ninjas, just going out there behind the scenes, just fighting oppression and social injustices, advocating for people who might not have a voice, who are very marginalized, advocating for anybody who might fall through the cracks of the system. I just love that idea that we're out there and fighting these injustices, and I like the idea to know that people who are very marginalized know that somebody's in their corner. I might not know you, you might not know me, but hey, I got your back.
Yeah. What I really, really like is I get to kind of be a part of people's journey. Like, there's something really, really powerful about getting to walk side by side with people. Like, when I first started this, it was kind of just so the interest of getting to diagnose and, getting to work with people and that kind of stuff. But the more I really grew as a social worker, I realized what a privilege it was to get to be in some of these people's deepest, darkest moments of their life and kind of let them know that it's going to be okay and that there's another side to that.
I think being able to take every opportunity you can as a student, because that's not necessarily afforded to you as you get into the professional world and that you're just concentrating on your job. This is a really wonderful opportunity to kind of try on different hats and see what you like about the field. Take opportunities on campus, because there's lots of different organizations, there's lots of different ways to advocate, there's a lot of social justice, and social justice is a big part of social work. There's a lot of different social justice movements going on campus. So I think that taking advantage of your campus organizations and things that you can access as a student only is really important. And also, joining professional organizations and starting networking, I think that it's never too early to do that. Joining the NASW has a student rate and that's less expensive, as well as the Kentucky Society for Clinical Social Workers. If you're interested in the clinical realm, they have a discount for students. So taking advantage of those and kind of trying those things out and seeing if it's something that you're interested in as you go into your professional work, as well as CEUs. Take advantage of those. It's never too early at the student rates for that, because then that really can give you an opportunity to look and grow and learn, and see if there's a part of the field that you're more interested in that it's a good way to kind of get your foot wet into that. So I think that's a good piece of advice as well that I really wish that I had done as a student and taken the opportunity to do more of those things.
Transitioning on into the field is kind of making sure that you are meeting people out there in the field and letting them know what you're interested in and getting references, and even if it's just kind of you going and volunteering for a couple hours, if you're interested in doing hospice, go to their events. If you're interested in working with adolescents, get out there and, go do some things with the adolescents world.
Social work is such a broad field that whatever you are bothered by or whatever issue is very personal to you, you can find a way to work with it with social work.
So advice is, again, learn from those opportunities. They're difficult, they're challenging. Look for the opportunity to do something different.
I mean, the one thing I just wanted to say in general is, I'm approaching retirement, in the next 5 years, and I'm looking forward to that. I'll probably never retire, but I'll retire from this position. But when I have interns and I meet with students, I'm always I'm so excited to see them. I'm so excited because they're fresh, they're ready, they want to change the world, and I support that 1,000%. And we need you. We need you because those of us, I'll always do advocacy work and I always work, but I'm tired, I'm older. And so, as that happens, I just want you to take on those reins and carry on the things that a lot of us have tried to do.